What's up, everybody? Season 9 has arrived. Matt Man Movies Podcast, your favorite podcast, has come back to entertain you with our hilariousness and great observations of the world and such things. Matt, what's your favorite observation of the things that you have seen since we've seen you last?
I've been in work mode, so my observation is that I hate this time of year for this business.
Yes, it is definitely the down time of year as always.
Yeah.
This is when the movies take time off. Though, if you're shooting down in Paraguay, maybe you should get some jobs. I'm just saying. Paraguay 2026? No. Okay, cool. No. Anywho's, we are here to talk about movies and all such things. There's been so much happened since the last time we have seen you. We've not seen movies, and the Oscars have made announcements on the 2025.
Speaking of not having seen movies, I don't think most people have seen the movies that have been nominated this year.
We might as well get into that now. 13 nominations for Emilia Perez.
Yeah.
This movie has got people talking. It's a 13 nomination, I think, is the biggest problem because
that used to be saved for a West Side Story or a Titanic even.
This was a very difficult year. We've talked about it, man. There's just not a lot of bangers on the list.
And Brutalist is probably the one I think is going to end up sweeping a lot of these.
And I hope so because, let's talk a little bit about The Brutalist. There's a couple of things that we can talk about with that. Number one, I'm going to be honest with you. I have my movie man card may be on suspension right now because I did not go see it in the theater. 3 hours and a half or not. That's kind of my jam.
That's a day, though. That's like a day.
That is
like that's one day. Of those where I can't see that and pick my kids up from school.
Right. Out of these 10 that are listed here for Best Picture, certainly I think that we both thought Anora was probably going to be something, but I don't think that's got a chance anymore. I think it had an early shelf life and it's disappeared now.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just too long of a wait.
Yeah.
Or if it didn't get out to regular people, fast enough.
Sure.
But 60 years ago, Wicked would just get 13 nominations and win all of it. I cannot believe The Substance got nominated for Best Picture. I
was going to say that too.
Not because I don't think it doesn't deserve it, because it was one of my favorites of the year, but the idea that it could win Best Picture, and it's the greatest films of all time: The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, The Substance. Also, I think Dune, they really shouldn't have released as early in the year as they did.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that at this point.
Because that was February or March? That
way
was
back
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if they had released later, they'd probably be a shoo-in for Best Picture. But the way it is, I think they're going to get visual effects, and that might be it.
It could be. I haven't seen Nickel Boys yet. I'm not a fan of that first-person way they shot it. I think that's really cool for them and very innovative and creative, but I don't do well with first-person movies, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. I did adore A Complete Unknown. Timothée Chalamet, well, it doesn't matter. He's going to be on the next SNL, and he's doing both the acting and the performing, and I can't be more excited about that. I put that on my calendar.
Do you think this timing has anything to do with the Oscar noms?
A bazillion% sure that it does.
Because if you take a look at who's up for Best Actor in a Leading Role, it's Adrian Brody. I don't think they'll give it to him.
Before?
Right, he's got one before. You've got Coleman Domingo, which...
Can you explain to me what Sing Sing is? Because I do not know.
I've never heard of it.
Okay.
And that's just me being ignorant, but I haven't heard of it. I like Coleman Domingo, but I don't think he'll get it. Ralph Fiennes, doesn't he have one too?
I believe so, but that's going to be my pick if I'm just kind of doing the quick glance. I think a lot of people liked Conclave later in the year, and they do love them.
Yeah.
Fine.
And Sebastian Stan, I think they're well, shit, we have to give it to him. But I don't think they will.
There's no chance that they want to talk about Trump. I think that's...
not just that.
Get interviews. I think that's the same thing. The topic of the movie is his problem.
Yeah, because he even said that they didn't want him for the actors on actors, and how
And I
they
do. Let me ask you just in general as a personal question. Do you think what's percentage that it was a movie about Donald Trump and what percentage of it was sometimes Sebastian Stan's a little bit exhausting?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think it's also to release that movie in an election cycle might not have been the smartest thing.
It was a roll of the dice for sure.
Yeah. But I honestly think it's going to go to Timothy Chalamet.
I sure hope so. My guy needs one. He's going to get one. If it's not this time, it'll be the next time. But I'm really excited about that.
I don't even know if he deserves it, but like I just think that like he's the guy right now.
Yep.
And with him doing double duty on SNL, that's getting his face in front of the people that are going to be voting for it.
I'm very excited that we got Bob Dylan back in our lives. I think that this happens every 7 to 10 years. There's a doc or there's something about Bob Dylan, and every time I'm excited about it, I'm so happy that the young people are still learning about Bob Dylan. That's really cool.
So for Best Actress, 2 months ago, I would have said Cynthia was going to walk away with it.
Yep.
And get her EGOT. But now? Now I think it.
Right.
I think it. No, I think it's going to.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually I put my money on already.
Yeah, because I think it's a threefer with her. Mm-hmm. One, she's really good in it, and like I said on our TikTok channel, which might still be up.
It's by there. The time this comes
out. Well, right now, but by the time this comes out, who knows? Who knows? Like I said in the TikTok when I covered it, I don't like using the word brave for performances, but she was really brave in that. And then on top of that, you have, the fact that she's been in the business for 45 years.
Yep.
And she's never been nominated for this.
Yep.
And on top of that, she's taking care of Bruce right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just going to be a real nice look. And I think everyone's going to come away happy with that. And Cynthia, if she gets it, I don't think it'll be for this one. It'll be next year for the second one.
Mm. Yeah,
because it's kind of like Peter Jackson, where it's like, oh man, Fellowship of the Ring was really good. We want to give it all these awards. And then everyone's like, we got 2 more of these coming out. We can't do this every year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, let's just wait till the third one and we'll give it everything.
Yep, I can see that happen. I can dig.
And by the way, Brutalist is getting Best Picture, right? Like that's just.
It sure seems like it, unless this Amelia Perez sneaks in there. I mean, weirder things have happened.
Yeah, this could be the crash. Yeah, this could be the crash. And director, I really think is gonna go to Brady for.
I'm fine with that.
Though, Brutalist.
If it's my choice, and if I'm being honest here, I've not always liked James Mangold. So he goes from over here. I think he made a pretty freaking perfect movie, and his ability to do that not once but twice with a biopic like this is spectacular to me.
Supporting actress, I'm going to say Isabella Rossellini.
I'm fine with that. Monica Barbaro nailed it. Woo, boy!
Yeah.
She was fantastic in the Bob Dylan movie.
Now, what about supporting actor?
Ooh, well, oh no. Well, this one's easy.
Kieran?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how it's his to lose. Like, he's a 600 favorite or something like that. It's crazy. And he should be. Like, he was, except for the fact that he was a co-lead in that movie, he was fantastic. Like, I don't have much experience with him, so I don't have, all the other TV shows and stuff that he's done, but, man, he blew me away. I just thought he was excellent, and maybe he's just who he is as that character in real life. Doesn't matter. Worked for me.
Yeah. What about original screenplay? I think it's actually going to go to Anora.
I was looking at this as well. That's probably going to be the case, but I'm not going to lie. September the 5th was pretty good because it's tell that story in a different way. And I thought they did
but like, but my thing is, I think it's just been kind of overlooked. A
bazillion percent sure. I saw it on like one of those Mystery Monday movies for $5 and worth every penny.
Adapted screenplay, I'm going to go Conclave.
Yep.
International feature, I think that's where Amelia Perez will get it.
Hope not, man. There's more. There's better movies on there.
Yeah, I know. Let's go down to the cinematography.
All right, let's do it.
That's going to be Brutalist.
I don't see how
Like
they can't win.
1,000,000%, right? Because first of all, uh, big stock
Yep.
and shot cheap.
Yep.
So costume design, that's wicked. Like just
How can that not be wicked, right?
right,
After all this,
right,
how can it not be?
right. Now, film editing, that's a tough one because Brutalist is a big undertaking.
Oh, can you imagine the nightmare of editing that thing?
There are a few movies where, like, when I think about what it was like editing them, I just my brain kind of shuts down. JFK is one of those.
Mm.
Like, you watch the first 15 minutes of JFK and you're like, no, no. Like, and that was like, can you just imagine like sitting at, but that, wow, actually, that might have been pre-Avid, you know?
Ooh, I think it
Just
might
like
have been, yeah, honestly.
sitting in a room
No, I'm
with
out.
all that footage.
No, thank
No.
you.
Best original score, best production design.
I'm
I
going through
think,
all these and I'm seeing how little different movies are. There's like 7 options this year for everything.
yeah, that's kind of what I was noticing. I think that's why Amelia Perez got a lot. One of the reasons it got so many.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think production design might go to Wicked.
No love for Nosferatu?
Just because we've had a bunch of different variations of that before.
That's fair.
And Wicked, like I watched it with my kids, and I was like, oh wow, like the set design and the production design really impressive.
Everything I've seen, yeah, it looks magical. Not my cup of tea, but it looks magical.
Right. Yeah. Original score, probably Brutalist. Just gonna go with that.
Yes.
Original song. Yeah, see, yeah, you got 2 for Amelia Perez here.
That makes me want to undead myself, unalive myself. Yeah.
Let's just go Elton John because that's a safe bet.
Yikes.
Dune will get sound, like without a doubt.
Yeah, agreed.
And visual effects. I was looking at this, and I think it's funny. First of all, can we talk about the fact that Better Man has made like $2 million?
Insane.
2 million. You asked me who's to blame, and I actually I gave that a really serious thought because who is to blame? Like, you can't blame Americans because we don't know who Robbie Williams is. I do. Like, you can ask my wife. I've been a fan of Robbie Williams since 1998 and Millennium. Yep. I get whenever I get a chance, I show someone the Rock DJ music video because I think it's just one of the greatest music videos of all time. And I've been a huge fan of his, but even I'm like, I don't know if I want to go see a movie where he's played by an ape, because one of the things I like about Robbie Williams is that his face is so expressive, and it's like, that's, I think, why people go to see these biopics, is to see the musician or musicians they like. So can you blame Americans? No. But this movie also hasn't been doing well in the rest of the world either.
Yeah. I will say, though, this comes up on X a lot of the times. They go, oh, well, we created something new and different, but nobody went to support it. And that's the problem with the movies. Well,
again, let me go back to you made a movie about the world's most famous pop star and his face isn't in it.
That's fair.
But anyway, for visual effects, you've got 2 monkey movies, so I think those will cancel each other out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably going to go to Dune Part 2. I think that and sound, you just lock those in right now.
No aliens sneaking in there?
No. Dune Part 2, the first one I was like, okay, fine. That second one, especially just in terms of spectacle,
yep,
that is a big movie. That is a big, good-looking, solid movie with impressive visuals. It's going to get it. Best makeup and hairstyling. Well, I mean, if the Substance is going to win anything, it's
going to be that,
right? Let's see. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I am on the nominations. I don't want to get into like the shorts.
God, it is so crazy that there are so few movies. There's
so few. Remember when like The Dark Knight got nominated, and they're like, "Whoa, we got so many good movies. We have to open it up to 10 because
Mhm.
5 just ain't enough."
Not this year.
And now you're like, "Man, we got 5 in this category, and we can't fill it."
Yep. God, there's some weird ones on this list.
This has been an odd year, especially coming off of last year.
Oh, for sure.
And I think last year is probably the best Oscars telecast I've ever seen in my life.
I'm fine with that.
And I want this to be like Conan's hosting, right?
Yep.
Okay, I want Conan to be Conan, and I want this to be awkward and terrible for everybody else. Like I want the like I love watching bad live TV.
So
And
Ricky Gervais just doing it differently.
less smug. Conan isn't smug, he is self-deprecating.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Unless he's with that who is
Jordan Schlansky? Jordan
Whenever he
Schlansky?
takes the producer anywhere, oh, that makes me laugh every time.
Jordan Schlansky, man.
Hey, we lost one of the great ones. This very recently, David Lynch passed away last week. One of the quintessential weird American directors, maybe the quintessential weird American directors.
Definitely the only American director who was allowed to be weird.
Yes, never
Like,
had a problem with that.
even
Nobody
people
ever
were
stopped.
even the average person was a little put off by Kubrick's weirdness, and he's not that weird. He's just cerebral.
Yes, I can completely agree with that. You know, it's funny. We talk sometimes about artists and creators who we love, but they don't necessarily make stuff for us. And I'll be honest with you, there's not a lot of David Lynch stuff I enjoy.
Same here,
As a movie
but I respect it.
Respect the heck out of everything.
Although I will say, watching. I told my buddy about this. Watching episode 8 of Twin Peaks: The Return with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I went over to your apartment and we watched that, it broke my brain because it's like it's the most interesting episode of television I've ever seen, and I don't even know if you could call it television.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like an hour and 15-minute long film. So here's the weird thing about David Lynch.
Talk to me.
The weird thing, the only weird thing. Everybody respects him. Everybody seems to love him. Did not have a giant body of work.
Nope.
Handful of movies and 3 seasons of a TV show, really.
Yep.
And even the second season, people were like, well, that's not really his season, so count season 1 and 3. But besides that, you have Eraserhead, which was basically a student film, right?
Yep.
It took years to do. Elephant Man, Dune, which he basically washed his hands of. Although I love his Dune. It is so weird and disgusting. I love it.
You know what I would have loved? Him and Jodorowsky combining to do that Dune.
Yeah.
That would have been something.
That they couldn't have worked together.
No, they could not for 1 second.
Blue Velvet, right?
Probably my favorite of his movies. That's not
mine too.
Yep.
Wild at Heart, Lost Highway. We'll throw in the Twin Peaks movie, and then what? Straight Story, Inland Empire, Mulholland Drive, and that was his last feature, right?
Yep.
And even that was originally made as a television pilot.
Still can't explain anything about that movie except the sex scene.
That's an odd flick. It's an odd flick.
Yes.
But so he's got a decent body of work, but over 40 years, it's not the most,
Nope.
So it's just, especially when you think that he hadn't made a feature film in the last 24 years of his life.
2 things. One, that's complete opposite of the guy that we'll talk about later, Steven Soderbergh. Number 2,
that guy's like, oh, by the way, I have a 3-hour movie about Che Guevara coming out that no one knew I shot.
Was there anything more scumbaggy this last week? Because there's been a lot of scumbaggy things in the world this last week.
Yeah.
Then that asshat over Netflix going, oh yeah, he was going to do something with us, but it ended up not working out or whatever. Fuck off. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that. Just be unalive. I just
it's that's definitely the right thing from someone who runs an internet-based company,
Yep.
where it's like, hey, let me make this about me.
Yep. Of course.
Um, I mean, we're all guilty of it, but like, I mean, that don't, especially like if it's true, don't tease us, you
Right.
know?
Yep.
Because again, like the only thing he did directorial wise after Mulholland Drive, if I'm not mistaken, the only thing was Twin Peaks: The Return, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think you're right.
Maybe some commercials or something, but
And some acting work.
yeah,
It's pretty cool. The last thing he did with John Ford.
That is really fitting.
Yeah.
That's really fitting.
Oh, for sure. Oh, hey, you know what? While we're in this thing, first of all, I did not tell everybody that I'm playing Hurt today. I injured myself taking off my hoodie earlier, so figure out what all that means. Also, got a couple.
So how are your 40s treating you?
just peachy, man, just peachy. I got a couple of new guys up here. I didn't set the Abby far enough down so you can't see that. I'll fix that next week. Also, I've got the last porno flick here as well for everybody. Just adding a little something to the wall. Just like to freak everybody out with a few of those. Trust me, I've got more coming. Don't you worry about that. David Lynch, thank you for just being you, man.
What's the one Lynch movie? What's the one Lynch movie of his? Like, what's the one Lynch movie that you wish you liked but you don't?
Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I wish I did.
Now, I will say this. I remember watching it because it came out when I was in college. Like, I had just started college.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it, and for the first like 20, 30 minutes or whatever, I was like, this might be the worst actress I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
She's so bad. And then he pulls the rug out from under us, and she goes into that audition, and you become transfixed at her performance. And like, I don't know what it did to me. Like, it moved me. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, like he played me for a fool.
Yeah.
I just wish I could make a little more sense of the movie.
Not gonna lie, first time I watched it, just waiting for the sex scene. After that, the second and third times, I actually watched the movie, but the first time, no, that was all it. Thank you also for that beautiful Oscar situation that he did, where he sat on the side of the road in LA for Inland Empire, I believe, had a cow beside him, and had his nomination for the Oscar. David Lynch, one of one.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I love more? Well, there's two things that I love on the internet right now. One of them is when the letterbox people stick their mic in front of people and go, top 4, go. I love that. But the other thing that I love is seeing literally every episode of the Criterion Closet. I am always so excited to see who is on there, what they're talking about, what they're doing. You know, even recently, Pam Anderson shows up, and
I'm glad you mentioned that, because my wife and I watched it. And I don't think she and I have ever been more surprised by a human being in our lives. I was watching this going, oh, I've got the worst taste in movies compared to Pam Anderson.
I know.
Like, everything she's doing, it's like, oh, like we've like, having grown up in the 90s, like, you know, our culture, we had a very different relationship with Pam Anderson. And I feel bad about it now, because she obviously had more to give than what people were willing to get from her back then.
Right. Yeah, because all she was getting offered was barbed wire. You know, those were her opportunities outside of Baywatch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that episode. You know, there's always somebody just random and weird on there. John David Washington was on there the other day, I think with his director, producer, and, you know, the other guy's talking about just this great classic cinema, blah, blah, blah. And then John David Washington goes, hey, I got a Jackie Chan box set. I was like, yes, that is the wonder of Criterion.
There we go.
From both ways.
Well, apparently that's how they stayed in business in the early days, was that Michael Bay was like, hey, how about you take, you know, The Rock and Armageddon? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love that they still do that from time to time. You just never know what's going to pop up.
It's still no Spielberg. Still no Spielberg.
Nothing. No. That is strange. I will say that I would take every DVD in there, Blu-ray in there. I'd be happy to steal all those. But if you were in the Criterion Collection closet, what are some of the choices that you think that you would make?
Soy Cuba.
Oh,
they just released a version of that I really want to get.
Yep.
Next time it goes on sale, if I'm employed,
right.
I will pick up a copy, because the downside to Criterion, gets expensive.
Well,
The
that's why
funny
I wait
thing
for the
is,
once every 6 months sale.
well, the funny thing is, until recently, I didn't have any Criterion discs, and my buddy Ryan for Christmas last year actually got me my first one. Your favorite movie, Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
And since then, I have purchased La Bamba, which
Nice.
looks fantastic. It looks so good. Mate One,
Mm.
which if guys, if you haven't seen Mate One, get yourself right.
Yeah.
And also one that I've been wanting for a long time. I got their copy of Do the Right Thing.
Oh, I bet that is glorious.
I've wanted to wait till I was in a really good state of mind
Hmm.
to sit down and enjoy it, so I'm not distracted.
Yep.
And hopefully I should be able to do that soon. But I was taking a look at like the 4K versus the Criterion Blu-ray, and like there's no compare. Like the Criterion looks so good.
Just blows it away. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good at that. I'm going to tell you a couple that I probably should buy sooner rather than later. Right at the top of that list is going to be Sallow. And the reason that I need to buy that is because at some point in time, that movie is not going to be allowed in the world anymore. I feel like somebody's going to finally realize what that movie is all about and be like, no more, none of that. So I'd really like that in my collection before it's like 300.
How often would you watch it?
I've seen
Right.
it twice.
Mhm.
I would certainly watch at least once more. Now, there's so much extra stuff. There's a lot of great stuff on bonus
Yeah.
features. So, I mean, that in and of itself would be worth it. It's a tough watch. I mean, it's not the easiest freaking watch in the world. I'd probably turn it off before the last 20 minutes. Of, honest, I don't know if I necessarily want to see that again. But it's such a moment in movie history for 1,000 different reasons. Certainly one of which is Pasolini got murdered over the movie. So that's pretty big deal. And, just all the kind of things that go into that. So Sallow's going to definitely be one. I've already got it in my cart as soon as I get the sale again. I definitely have to have Silence of the Lambs. John, whatever bonus features he's got on whatever he's doing, sign me up. Something wild. Love the special features on that. He always does a great for that extra stuff. So that is something I need. That is something I want. That is my next purchase if it's not Vengeance is Mine.
Night of the Hunter.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, I want Night of the Hunter. That movie that's a special. It's funny. I chose two movies that have the same scene. The love and hate scene, Night of the Hunter, and and Do the Right Thing. I don't know. There's so many.
Branded to Kill, baby.
Ooh.
This is all. If they have a new version of this one, I always buy it.
Do they have hardcore?
Nope.
I can't remember where I saw hardcore. I want to get
we need to buy that. That's for sure. That freaking oh man,
that movie is a nice combination of really good and also really cheesy.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like you could definitely see.
Kino Lorber has it.
Okay, yeah. You could definitely see the how it wants to be a more conservative movie moralistically, but it doesn't mind being sleazy and showing you what you want to see.
Right.
So it's trying to have its cake and eat it too.
Yeah, that's the Paul Schrader way.
Yeah. Oh man, we can talk about him and AI.